This tutorial requires intermediate skills, takes about 3 hours to put these gloves together, and the application time of course is a few seconds since the scissor hands are constructed with gloves. Since we didn't want this video to become 40 minutes long, some parts of it is more conceptual guides rather than the exact tutorial. Anyways, we need a few shapes to create the scissors, and these are the ones we started out with for our right and left hand. And as always, for best results, find yourself a nice reference image. We need something to attach all these scissors to our fingers with, so we take a measurement of our finger and times that 4, and Ellie never measures, she just goes by feel. We're gonna fold this piece to make a little tube that we thread over each finger. This way we have something to attach to the glove, and also we have something to attach the scissor pieces and, yeah, blades to, if you will. So there you go. This needs to become a tube, so we add a little glue, glue that together, and with our little quick measurement we did before, we should be able to just place that straight over our fingertips. In Ellie's case, she has really long nails, so we have to cut off the top of the glove. You might not have to do that if you don't want to, but she had to. Anyways, so we thread these on like this, and that creates the base on which we build all the blades on. So, about the blades, same paper, that thick silvery paper, and we start cutting out those green shapes we saw in the beginning. Then we simply glue them onto the sides like this to create the different knife pieces. And this is where this tutorial becomes more of a conceptual guide rather than a detailed tutorial. So we are basically trying to build all the different shapes of Edward's different blades and stuff and place them like this onto our little square tubes there. So here is one of the simpler ones finished, like that. And for the more complex ones, we have angled and bent shapes. It's the same process, but you might have to cut the pieces up along as you go to make them fit and turn into blades. Here is one that tapers off from that thick part and becomes a thin knife edge. All done with the same concept. So with good reference images, you should be able to construct the different knife pieces, just like we have done here. When you have constructed all those blades, simply apply a little glue there on the glove, slide all your pieces right on there, and before you know it, you have an operational scissor hand. Yeah! Next up, all those scissor handles, and we are going to create these shapes using ellimorph plastic. You can of course create them using cardboard or any other foam material as well if you'd rather do that. We thought ellimorph plastic was the perfect candidate. And again, we will not bore you with showing how to create all these different shapes using ellimorph. We're simply going to do a few of the basic ones here for you. Just pull out the plastic, wrap it around, reheat it if you need to, if it starts getting too solid. Push the ends together and basically repeat the process for all those shapes. You can always go back and pause the image so you see all the shapes, and in a few seconds we're going to show you all the shapes created with ellimorph. You might want to trim some of them using a pair of scissors, haha, no pun intended. We also used a basic file to smooth off edges. And here is one of the black ones. Of course, you don't have to have the different colored ellimorph because we are going to paint all of these at the end anyway. So any kind of color you got will be fine. So here are all the shapes ready to be glued onto our scissor hands. To put them in place, we are going to use a combination of glue as well as our sticky self-adhesive foam sheets. If you don't have foam sheets like that, you can probably use gaffer tape or something similar to really strengthen the hold. I'll show you in a second. And also here we are using the glue gun to actually create a little rivet, like a bolt or a screw going through there. Looks pretty cool. I'm gonna paint that later. And here we have our next piece going straight on there. That one sticks by itself just with that glue. The next one is a bit bigger, so we add the glue, put it in position, then take that piece of adhesive foam sheet and wrap it over the top there. Really give it that nice hold, make sure it doesn't come off. And you could maybe use gaffer tape here as well. We are gonna paint over all this, so it doesn't really matter what color they are. You're either thinking the same thing as me, or you are not, but this looks like Optimus Prime's Scissorhands. Ha ha ha. Perfect color scheme for that. And speaking of colors, we start off with a little bit of black just randomly on the blades there to give them a little bit of wear. Then we continue with a silver tone, and as we have done a lot of times when we use spray, sometimes if you push down the nostril just a little, you get these large specks of color, and that actually looks like oxidation on the metal, and it's pretty cool. On top of Edward Scissorhands, he has these little plates of bronze, if you will, and to create that we're using a brown foam sheet, and we add this bronze color on top of it. Mix that in with a brown spray color. Again, trying to get those large drops of spray paint. Then we go in with a little bit of black on the edges here, just randomly. Get a nice mix, and then we end it all with another coat of this bronze tone. And we do streaks like this because we want to get a metally look on it. It gets this really nice metal shine to it. Awesome. Now we just have to cut them out in perfect pieces to fit on top of our gloves over the wrist. Semi-round piece like that fits perfectly right there. Push it down, and in our case this is a self-adhesive foam sheet. Of course, use glue if you need to. For the left glove, there is a little difference in the actual plate, and this needs more detailing. So we start off with a piece like this, glue that on as a base. Then we need two overlapping pieces, sort of like metally streaks or bars going up towards the fingers there. So we need to cut out a piece looking like this. And with that piece cut out, we apply it to another similar piece, just to get the layers of metal there. And those lines going up forward towards the fingers. This is actually glued a bit higher up, closer to the fingers, as you'll see. And there we go. Lining up with the fingers. Our gloves are starting to look the part now, but we need a little bit of more detailing, so let's create some rivets using our glue gun. Adding them along the edge. It's going to be a perfect addition. Adding to that metal look. And for the paint job, we start out with all those handles. The red ones are painted red, and the black ones are painted black. Simple enough. These are basic grease paints. You can use any kind of paint that you have that will stick to that plastic. To give the blades additional shine, we add a layer of glue on top of them. When it dries, we have a nice shiny edge that we can continue painting. But before we head on into the detailing paint job, let's check out Louis SFX. Awesome SFX here. They are really gory and messy, so check this. Check this account out. For that extra detailing work on those plates and blades, we are using alcohol activated colors, starting off with a earthy green tone here to give some oxidation effects to this bronze and copper looking plate, adding additional darkness there around the rivets, letting it flow out a bit, just randomly like that, keeping it on the edge though. Then going in with additional black on top of them, smudged it off just a little, and then some nice wear and tear streaks there on the surface. I'm making the metal look old. In Swedish is jag får metallen att se gammal ut. Continuing to darken down those outer edges. And throwing in some blue-green tone here for some oxidation effect. Same goes for parts of those rivets. I'm gonna go in with a coat of that bronze tone again to add a little bit of shine to a few pieces there, bringing back the metally look. Top it all off with some dirt, dark brown or black here. Just dab on it, making it dirty, rough. And if you ask me, I think it comes out awesome. Really, really cool. Now time for the blades and a dark brown, and we need to make them like, yeah, they are used and they are damaged and they have oxidation and a little bit of rust maybe. They are really old and worn, so just let that color run down. Apply it on the edges, let it run down. And this is actually the last step, and after this, if you don't want to do anything else to them, you are ready. And I must say, I think they came out really, really amazing given the materials we have been working with here. Just some hard paper, a little plastic, and yeah, a pair of gloves. So there you go, Edward Scissorhands. If you like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to check out the Edwina Scissorhands makeup tutorial on how to turn yourself into Edward or Edwina now that you already have the gloves. See you soon, take care, bye!